This is an educational video on keeping horses. I'm just going to name things right off the bat that I've learned over the years. Shavings, which we got this pile from a local woodcutter, soak up the urine the easiest. In the stall, we have a rubber bucket for grain. The grain is kept in a bin to prevent the horses from getting at it on their own. When we clean the stalls, we will sweep off the first section there where we'll feed them the hay at night. This is an example of where I'll sweep it. That whole first section will be clean. Feed them a mixture of first and second cut. Especially the older horses like the second cut. It's easier for them to process. Just like with any older elderly, the teeth are not as good as they used to be. Hopefully they still have them. But if you have geriatric animals, it's the teeth that are the most susceptible to aging, and the bones, obviously, they'll become more frail. So this first cutting is the hay that we make square bales. We don't feed our horses round bales, but some people do. So square bales is more labor intensive. What we'll do is we'll put the hay right here on the clean spot. Each horse has a water bucket. This is heated for the winter, and we'll change it every day. Give them clean water. We used to use this hay rack in the corral, but even if you have it sturdy, just another obstruction for horses is another way for them to get hurt. As you can see, this is their corral. I gave them some morning feeding. Each horse should get 25 pounds of hay per day. So if our bales are 40 pounds, then it's a little more than half a bale per day each. So we feed them much more than 25 pounds, I gotta tell you. We'll go through with 6 horses. We'll go through 4 bales a day at least in the winter, but in the summer then they get to graze on their own. So they ate not quite half a bale so far today, and they are looking for more. This is our pretty Blackfoot, one of the most sensitive to overeating. Aren't you, Blackfoot Beauty? She is a beauty. It's hard for you to see her because of the sun. Well, not really sun, but the light. But she's a little sensitive to walking right now because of the icy conditions and because of feeding too much. But anyway, so this is the corral. It's a run-out area before they get to the pasture. We used to use this big bucket here with the heating element, but I find that since I prefer to clean out the water every day, I use the unheated half a barrel over there, and it's easier to dump and get clean every day. These are the buckets for the summer, the non-heated. Here's some string on the floor. I try and keep very tidy. You don't want stuff that the horses could get to. This area is kind of a storage area, but you see that window there is horse level. So we'll take this gate and we'll swing it open when the horses come in, and that protects them from getting to that area. And the other windows, it's only that right there, and in the dog kennels, and they can't have access to glass because you want it to be higher, so it's out of their way. We prefer these stalls, which have been fantastic, wood and steel. Jean made them. Very strong. Horses can obviously see out here, but they can't get out. And there's a cat visiting us. There's a lot of these hydrants here, which protects the water from freezing, you see, because it's cleaned out right away. The water won't stay in the pipe. Oops, I think I splashed the camera. Well, that's what we have in front of every stall. Makes it easy. And there you could actually dump the water. Being put in a spot right there where the water goes into sorry about the dogs. Now in the winter, if you have water spill, what I'll do to prevent it from becoming a slippery spot for the horses is I will actually put hay on top of it That will press it down, freeze on top of the ice, and it won't become a slick area. This is our manure. Not a spreader, but it's a dump cart. So we'll empty the manure every day from the horses and put it into there. And then once a week we'll take that out and put it in a compost area for the organic garden or fields that we do. This is a grain bucket at the ready. If the horses get loose, get your grain bucket and shake it for the horses. They will come to the bucket, and then use a halter them and bring them back to safety. I have I powdered it up, which is a horse aspirin. In the event that they do seem like they're getting too much feed, just check with your vet, but a little bit of this helps stop a little bit of that helps stop the lameness. It's an anti-inflammatory, I believe, too. So, we have quite a lot of equipment here. The horse trailer is right there. This is a front corral, which we will put the horses in on the blizzard days. This is where Gene put what is this? This is his baler. Brings it inside. Brings it inside in the winter. This I want to show you is a way to keep your implements, your little tools or whatever, sweepers, and helps you muck. Always keep them flush so that the horses don't trip over them. See, we have this back wall too. We could keep the harsher, shovel, and pitchfork protected in here. And this is our muck rake. The dogs, indoor, outdoor facilities for them. Their own water buckets, which are changed each day. Hay is bedding, which is easy to clean regularly so they don't get fleas collecting in there or anything else. As you can see, here's some full buckets that I'm emptying out of their kennels, which are separate from the horse manure, which is composted and goes into our field. So obviously we don't want that doggy hay in there. This is my Dixie chopper, which I use for the veggies, which mulches our grass clippings. And this little tractor is something that I'm able to operate. And this is our gates. We use these metal gates here to keep our facilities strong for the horses. You can see the outdoor kennel there, snow blower, backhoe, a tractor which still has on the hay cutter. Making hay is a very, 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 very difficult chore. Equipment will break down. So someone like Dean is really good at it. I don't want to be sexist, but a lot of these implements are not easy for women to change. As you can see here, they have these hitches, and some of the hitches hurt your knuckles. Look at that when you change them. So I don't do that. Luckily, Gene does that. But I will drive the tractor here. And I've bush hogged. I've also done some of the parts of the hay, which is spreading out the hay, tedding it, they call that. And raking it is when you put it into rows to be baled. I've used a raker before, but other than that, Gene doesn't like me to touch his equipment. I'm not the best when it comes to being careful. All right. We keep some stuff here, but we have it all kind of flush away from the horses. And that's it. Other helpful tips I come up with, I will put a separate video, but I think the main thing to remember with horses is they need to be fed probably no more than every 5 hours when they rely on you to give them the hay in the winter. When they're grazing, obviously you don't have to feed them because they have the grass, but I do monitor how much grass they take in because of the fact that in this location, zone 3-4, we have some really plush grass. And if they have too much grass, they will lead to lameness, and that's a problem. Too little feed. Oh, there's a horse out there rolling. Blackfoot. Too little feed will lead to colic, which is when the horse gets gas trapped in their large intestine. The other thing to notice is it's pretty clear for these animals. Like, there's no obstacles. It's important with horses because they will get hurt. So they're out there now looking for what? I have no idea. They're not brush eaters, so they will maybe dig a little bit in the snow, but I'll be giving them more hay. And just about an hour here. I like to kind of pace what they eat. Like I said, no more of a period between 5 hours. So we take care of them at 7, at 1, or 12, and then again at 6 in the winter. And then, of course, I'll get a chance to check up on them in between. I think they're going down to the river. I think they may still be able to find some apples. Who knows? As long as they keep themselves interested, we don't work them too hard. They should definitely be ridden more, just like that's their cardio. So, alas, she's probably our most spoiled horse because she was the one that was born with us. So, she's from Smoky Boots. Her mother and her got to live together their whole life, which was very interesting because they definitely knew each other as mother-daughter. And when her mother died, she died right in the corral at an old age, near 30. Uh-oh, horses are running. Well, I will capture that because they see me out here. So what I'll do is I'll get to the side so they don't trample me. Believe it or not, I have been trampled before by Blackfoot. Jimmy pushed her, and she ran right over me. So that's their run. So see that? They did get some cardio on their own. Jimmy's coming right up to me because he wants more hay. Right, Jimmy? Are you winded? A little bit? A little winded? You're a good boy. Jimmy's probably the prettiest. Well, that one's pretty too, but look, all horses are pretty. Some are just more beautiful than others. They all have the Sandman visited them last night, so they slept. Hey, this is an example of what happened. So I was in right down there where he pushed Blackfoot on top of me, and I still have the bruise too. Luckily, it went over my buttocks, so I was able to survive that. So that's how it goes. Be safe with horses, respect their strength, and also respect their feeding requirements, because you will have an animal that you can keep well for their lifespan, which is what we all strive for, give them a good and long life.